Hi guys, welcome back to Determined to Praise. So I really hope that you guys have been enjoying these videos this month and enjoying this faith over fear. As I said, we're going to be talking about it majority of the year because it's important. It's the key to unlocking the fullness and understanding of who God is. So today I want to talk about faith. And this video isn't just encouragement for you guys, but it's encouragement for me as well, because as I continue to ask you guys to have faith over fear and for us to learn to trust God in new ways, it's the same thing for me with the videos and with the shirts and the hoodie and all these new different things. You know, God is always somewhere doing something new, doing something different, and it's always uncomfortable because we're so used to things being a certain way, or God moving in a certain way, or Him doing something specific. And then when you have to try something new, it's as if you become a baby and you're starting all over again with trying to learn to trust Him in this new thing. And I don't know about you guys, but I really want to live a life where I have this unwavering faith, where I don't care what comes my way. I don't care how hard the devil knocks, how hard he kicks, what storms come and blow, and if they knock the house down. I want to know that no matter what happens or what it looks like, that God's going to do what God said He's going to do, and that is going to work for me. And I mean, we're human, so we're going to have those moments where we doubt. Like, I feel like it's just a part of life and it's going to happen. But I really don't want to be stressed or worried about things. I really just want to always have faith and believe in Him no matter what. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I hate when I worry or stress about something and then it works out. And I'll be like, girl, you was really in here stressed for days, for weeks about this, and God already had everything under control. So my question today is, do you have faith? And I wanted to talk about this because I actually had a whole different thing to talk about, but God placed something different on my heart today. So the other night I watched a movie called The Girl Who Believes in Miracles, and it was such a beautiful movie. But the little girl had faith, and she had faith and she believed, and she found a dead bird, and she was like, you know, I want to pray for the bird, and I want God to bring the bird back to life. And her brother was telling her, you know, it's not going to happen. The bird is dead. The bird is not going to come back to life. And she's like, well, what about Lazarus? Jesus brought Lazarus back, and he's like, well, I don't see Jesus anywhere, and this bird isn't Lazarus. But that little girl sat there by that lake, and she prayed for that bird. And then all of a sudden, you see her smiling, and they're like, what's going on? She's like, do you see it? And they're like, see what? She's like, God, I see Him. He's on the other side of the lake. He's floating over the water. And then next thing you know, there's a huge breeze of air that comes, and the bird flies out of her arms. Mind you, this bird is dead. The brother literally touches the bird, and he's like, it's cold, and this doesn't have a heartbeat. This bird is dead. But then when he's seen the bird get up and fly, he's sitting there confused himself, like. And even though they seen that, they still didn't believe. They were like, maybe the bird was asleep. Maybe it was sick. And it's like, you just said the bird was dead. Now the story changes because you don't understand how the bird got up and flew. I don't want us to be like those people that miss out on what God can do because we just don't believe. And, you know, as Christians, we're always saying these scriptures. And I mean, I should have wrote them down. But, you know, all things are possible through Christ. All things are possible through Christ. We always say these things, but, and I made a video the other day talking about this, a short clip. But the question is, do we really believe it? Do we really believe it? Or is it just something we say because, you know, it's something we've been taught, something we've learned to say, and something we've learned to know is true? But do you really believe it yourself in your heart and in your mind and in your soul? Do you really believe that all things are possible through Christ? Or do you believe that only the things that seem like they can happen, only the things that seem normal or seem like it's possible are the things that, is that what you believe? Is it just a little bit? Or do you really believe that God is capable of doing anything? Like, anything is possible. Like, do you really believe that? So I wrote a few things down. We're going to go over it. So the first thing I wrote down, of course, was a definition of trust. Definition of faith. Complete trust or confidence in someone or something. We have to have complete trust and confidence in God, and know that no matter how the situation looks, I don't care what's happening, but know that He can step in and He can make something amazing happen. I don't care how bad things look. And I mean, my son is living proof, because he shouldn't be here. He didn't have a heartbeat when he came out of the womb. He was not breathing. That life should have been over right then and there for him. But God gave him life, and he's here. And I mean, the fact that he's doing all these amazing things is just mind-blowing. Me looking at him, to me, that's my proof of knowing that God exists. Because the little boy is just, he really God always seems to blow my mind, and I'm just being truthful for me. There's so many doubts and worries because, again, we let the negativity of the world and what the world thinks, because see, the world's going to think we're crazy for our belief, right? The world's going to think you're nuts. So that can't happen, but that's your opinion. But the God I serve, let me tell you something, he's capable of anything and all things, so there's no limitations. So we can't let the world and the negativity get in our minds and block out what we already believe to know is true. We can't let that happen, and that's what happens most of the time. The doubts come in, the negativity come in, and then we start thinking that it can't happen anymore after you just spent a week or days in prayer knowing what God said to you, but then you come in and you let somebody else take that away from you. So we have to learn how to block out the negativity and know that God is here and he's going to make things happen. It says the purpose of faith is to believe in oneself and allow God to come into life and take control. We don't like letting God take control, and I ain't even mad at y'all because I get it. It's always scary when it's something new. You be like, hold on, wait a minute, God, I don't know about this one. Like, I don't know. But we have to really understand that in this life and the way things move, it's not us, it's him. You know, it's not us, it's him, and we have to really learn to understand that. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a minute to understand that. Even when I praise dancing, when I first was praise dancing for a while, I really thought it was me, and I had to really sit down and go, oh shoot, no, this isn't me. God had to humble me and let me know, like, bro, it's not you in the up there. That's me moving through you. I'm the one that's in control. You have to let go of what you think you know, and what you think is best, or what you think you're doing that's right, and know that it's me up there. And you have to let go of what you're thinking, and let me take control, because only he knows what the people need, what they need to see, what they need to feel. Only he knows their hearts and what they're going through. I have no idea what people are going through that are walking into these buildings, but I have to trust God. So whatever that song is he places on my heart, whatever that move is that he's making my body go into, I have to flow with it and let him go, because if not, then I'm not allowing him to do his job. And the people aren't going to get what they need when you put yourself into the equation instead of letting God be who he is, a miracle worker. And I also have a couple Bible scriptures written down, but I wanted to say this. I have this devotional book that I bought the other day, and it's really been out here challenging me. So I'm going to write down what it says because it was really, really good. It says, when it comes to trust, remember, we're talking about total reliance upon spiritual timing, not just partial trust in the areas where we feel the odds work in our favor. I don't know about y'all, but that kind of punched me in my chest a little bit, because how many of us trusted God only because the situation looked like it was going to work out? Oh, I'm believing and trusting God because, you know what, or I'm going to, pay my tithes because I got a check coming in, or I'm going to do this because I know I'm getting ready to get blah, 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 blah. So it's easy to give and do what God asked you to do at that moment because you see your way out. You already know how it's going to happen, so it's okay. You're not really stressed out. You're not really too worried. It's like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. It'll be fine. Everything's going to work out. But it's because you feel comfortable and you can see a way out. But what about in those moments where you don't know where the money's going to come, and you paying them tithes mean you giving your last, like you just got paid and everything going, and that's your last, and now you don't know how you're going to make it through those 2 weeks. What about those moments where your kid is sick and the doctors can't figure out why, and you don't know the next answer? What do we do in those moments where we're sick in the body and the doctors are saying it can't be cured, it can't be healed? What do we do in those moments? Do we continue to have faith and stand strong and remember the words that God said to us? Or do we let fear take over at that moment? Do we let the doubts take over at that moment? Do we stop believing in who God is? Do we stop having our trust, our faith, and our confidence in him in those moments? And I get it. We're human. We have flesh. We have problems. We're going to have issues. You're going to have your days where you're really struggling to believe. But I really, what I don't want you to do is stay in that place. I feel like it's okay, and this is just my opinion. Again, you're going to have that moment where you doubt for a second, right? Where you're stressed out and you're worried. What I want you to do is that in that moment, you go, you know what? This situation isn't looking right. It's not feeling right. I really have no idea what God is going to do. I don't know what's happening, why it's happening, what God's going to do, where this is going. But I have to trust him because he wouldn't have brought me here to leave me here. He didn't bring me to this situation to just leave me stuck here miserable and drowning in my own sorrow. He's bringing me somewhere. We're going somewhere. This is going to become something special. This is going to be a testimony because I'm going to be healed and I'm going to be blessed and I'm going to be able to share this with somebody, and they're going to be able to see that there's a God who can do the impossible. Because if we don't give God a chance to show us what he's capable of, then we'll never know what he's capable of. We have to go through something. You have to experience him in a new way in order to know he's capable. And yo, when I tell you, God's been blowing my mind, because it's like, again, like I said, I look at my son, and I've been believing since birth that he's going to live a full life. All the things in that little boy's heart that he wants, he's going to be able to live. Talking and walking and eating and running and playing with people, sports, all of that. I believe all of that for his life. But I have my moments where I always wonder, how much longer is this going to be? How much longer is this going to be? You know, when do we get to this part? Or when do we get to that part? Or, you know, we rush to get to the ending of things because we just want the final part to be here. And sometimes, you know, when God has been teaching me is just learn how to enjoy the journey. Just enjoy the journey of where I'm taking you. Each step each step, when you allow me in a little more, and you trust me a little more, and you have a little bit more faith, I'm going to keep showing you new things. But just take it one step at a time. Don't rush through it, because you miss the best parts when you rush through it. Don't rush through it. And the storms aren't fun. They're not easy. And that waiting moment, it's not a fun place to be in. But in that moment is where you learn who God is. And when you learn to trust him and you learn to build your faith, it's in that space where the miracle happens. Because when you get out of it, then you can say, yo, you know what? And you can tell somebody else that's going through it. Listen, guys, I remember at a point, I was depressed and I was suicidal and I was this, because I was in that waiting moment and I didn't know when God was going to come. And when he finally came, it was amazing. I didn't even expect it to happen the way it happened. It was just crazy, because it really just blew my mind. You'll be able to give somebody that hope, that confidence, and that faith in your testimony. But if you didn't go through that, you wouldn't be able, what you going to share? There will be nothing for you to share, nothing for you to give somebody. So we have to learn how to be patient in these waiting periods and learn to trust him and just keep giving him our all, even when our all is the bare minimum of what we like. Whatever your all is what you give him. There is no more or less. There is no comparing it to what someone else's best is. Your best is your best, and God knows our hearts. He knows our intention, you know, behind our motive. So when you give your best, and it doesn't matter what it may look like to somebody else. God knows that you gave it all. So we really have to just learn how to be confident. And again, I get it, but like even with these shirts, and I'm going to post a picture on YouTube so you guys can get a better look at the front and back. It pretty much is this, but I'm going to post a picture so that you guys can see. And for all of you guys who may have been waiting and wondering why isn't everything up yet, please be patient with me. I wanted to order the shirt, the hoodie, and the hat myself. Try them on just to make sure that it was all good material and that it looked good and felt good. And so far everything is great. I'm just really waiting for the shirt. So hopefully later this week everything will be up. But I will definitely post a link on YouTube, and it'll be on Facebook so you guys can share it and go on there and do what you guys need to do. But even in that took faith, because it's always scary. And you know, who am I? You know what I mean? I always think of myself, but I'm not anybody special. I'm just a person simply doing my best to pursue God's will. That's really it. Doing my best to give him yeses each time, even though I'm terrified. I'm scared. That's it. We're going to always be scared. I don't think we ever get to a point where we're just comfortable, because there's always something new happening. God's always moving in a different way. He's always doing something new. He's always pulling you out into the wilderness, and it's always scary. But I really want to encourage you guys, because even with this shirt, these hoodies, and these hats, it's not just fashion or something to throw on, but this is a statement. We're out here declaring that we're going to have faith over fear in our lives, that we're going to learn to trust God, learn to trust what he says, trust his word, and not allow negativity and fear to have the last say in our actions. We are in control of what we do. So that means we have the choice to trust God or to walk in fear, to walk in faith or to let the devil win. We have the choice. The choice is yours. Is we have to take action, and we have to know that if God said it, that's what it is. That's what it is. And we have to stop letting fear take over. So many of us have missed out on taking the dream job or living our dream or doing things that are on our hearts because we let fear take over. It stops here. We are no longer letting fear run our lives. Even with these shirts, like I said, I was worried about what people are thinking, prices, and we stress ourselves out when we worried about everything, when we just need to let God be who he is. Let God be who he is. Let him show you, but he can't show you if you don't give him a chance. So to give him the chance, you have to step out on faith and do it. Step out on faith and try that new thing. Step out on faith and do it. You know, do it. But the question is, do you believe? Do you believe what he's saying to you? Do you have the faith? Do you trust him? Are you willing to give it to him? Are you willing to give him your all? Are we willing to do it? Because a lot of us say it out of habit. But do we really believe in our hearts? Do we really have the faith? Do we really trust him? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Because if you trust him and you have the faith, well, then do it. Move. Do that thing. Share that testimony. Step out and do whatever that thing is that God placed on your heart, because so many of us let fear stop us, and we really have to stop. And I don't know about you guys, but I want to experience the fullness of God. I want to get everything he got on this earth for me. I want it all. I want I want everything. I don't want to leave this earth and there was something on this earth that I was supposed to do that I didn't do. And I'm not saying any of it's going to be easy, because a lot of things haven't been easy. I just keep telling myself, it's important, it's important, it's important. What you're doing is important, so don't quit, don't stop. If God told you to do it, then do it, because it's important. And I feel like if we have that mindset, it just helps us move forward and know that what we're doing isn't irrelevant. It's not for nothing. It's not a waste of time, but it's important. We never know what people need to hear, what they need to see, but God does. So if he says do it, it's for a reason. It's a purpose behind it. It's not just he's bored up there and he's just giving you random orders. No, it all leads to something bigger than us. So we have to be willing to step out on faith and trust in him. And I really want to encourage you guys, as I'm trying to encourage myself, that let's receive all that God has. Let's get the fullness of who God is now. I don't want to wait, until I'm old and I can barely walk, or until something happens, but I want to get it now. I want to go after it now, and I want to bless people. I want to help people. I want all that God has for me, and I want to do all that he needs me to do. I want to do it all. And again, it's scary, it's uncomfortable, but what else are we going to do? Just sit here and keep waiting and wishing? One day I'm going to go back to school. But you know what? My finances got to get together. One day I'm going to go after that dream job, but I just kind of I got to get a couple stuff together first. It's not going to work out right now. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start these videos or that podcast, or I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start writing that book. No. Wait. It's not going to work out right now if I start it at this moment. Like, I got to wait for, God's got to give me another sign. He's got to do, no, he's already told you what to do. He's giving you the sign. You've gotten the confirmation, but you're still sitting there waiting. What are you waiting on? I really don't know. And this is not me coming for nobody. I'm saying, when I started these YouTube videos, I had no idea what I was doing. It was just God told me people need encouragement, so I did it. I didn't know what was going to happen. I really didn't think people were going to listen to me, because I'm not really used to people paying me any attention. Most people pay attention to my husband. He's the one that's outgoing and goofy, and people are always on his Facebook status and stuff. But I feel like people don't really pay no attention to me. And that's not me saying it like I'm sad or upset or anything, but I didn't really feel like people were going to pay attention to what I had to say. And so it's been surprising. It's been almost a year now. At the end of this month, it'll be a year I've had this YouTube page. And I'm just grateful for God and for what he's doing and that he's using me. I'm grateful to be used. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to help. And that's just simply what it's about. We just have to continue to encourage one another and help one another in this walk with Christ, because it's not easy, but we can't do it alone. We need one another. We need the help. We need the push. We need each other to be there and help lift one another up. That's our jobs in this walk with Christ. So I really hope that you guys just stay encouraged, and that you guys hear these things, but you really do something different and take a stand, take a step out. Again, it's not easy, and it's going to be very terrifying. It ain't gonna it's never not going to be scary. You're going to always be scared. Might as well just do it. How many other things have we done scared that literally really didn't make much of a difference in our lives? Plenty of things. Why not do what God asks scared? Why not do what God asks scared? Why not? So, and I have one more thing written down. We must become intentional when it comes to no longer trusting the wrong things, like yourself, your experience, your intellect. You may be good, but God is great. We really have to take ourselves out of the equation and remember that it's all him. It has nothing to do with us. It's simply us allowing God to step in and take control. And you can't lose when you do that. There is no losing when we trust in God and we put him first. And I have 2 Bible scriptures that I wrote down. So give me 3. So let me read these 3 Bible scriptures. I'm going back too far. Sorry. This way. Okay. The first one is, faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. That's Hebrews 11:1. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know these Bible scriptures already. And it is impossible to please God without faith. Anyone who wants to come to him must believe that God exists and that he rewards those who sincerely seek him. That's Hebrews 11:6. And the last one I wrote down is trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. That's Proverbs 3:5. I mean, we can't trust ourselves because at the end of the day, we don't know everything. We don't know God's intentions or what he's doing. We just know that God wants the best for us. So we have to trust in what he's doing, even if it doesn't make sense to us. Because God, he going to actually do some stuff. You're going to be like, nah, I'm not doing that. But it's a reason. Again, everything has a purpose. So we can understand that the things God asks us to do is not for no reason. There's a reason behind it. There's a purpose behind it. Somebody is going to be blessed through your obedience. So we have to learn how to move even when it doesn't make sense and it's scary, because you have no idea who's going to get what they need behind you giving God that yes. Behind you doing what he's asked you to do is going to bless millions of people, but they're going to miss it because you're afraid. There's somebody waiting for what you have inside of you. So we have to be willing to do what he says, to do it, and to have faith and to trust him. And again, it's scary. It's never going to not be scary. It's never going to not be scary. But it's worth it, man. It is so worth it. I can't explain the way I felt these last few years really out here doing what God asked. And I mean, I have moments where I'm in those storms and I'm like, I quit. I quit every week, y'all. I quit every week. I'm telling you. I quit. I ain't doing it no more, God. You called the wrong person. I don't want to do it. You're going to have those moments. I have them all the time. But we can't let that moment stop us from continuously seeking his will and continuously trusting him. We can't stay there. You're going to have the moment where you want to quit and when you want to doubt. That's fine. Don't stay there. Get up. Say, I got to keep moving. I got to keep going. If not for you, know it's for somebody else. If that's enough to make you push, it's for somebody else. That's what makes me push. This is for somebody else. Keep pushing. Keep going. Have faith and trust in him. So again, this faith over fear, the shirts and the hoodies and the hats, it's not just fashion. We're making a statement here, guys. We're declaring things here that we're going to have faith and we're going to trust in him and we're going to do those things we've been terrified to do, because faith wins. We have to let faith win. Faith over fear. We have to trust in him. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. Stay tuned for the shirts. I pray that you guys have a blessed day. Have a blessed week. And let's just continue to walk in faith, guys. Bye.